Welcome to our next episode of Two and a Half Perspectives. In our previous episode, we have tackled career growth versus building your own business.
And today we're going to look into decisions. But before we go there, do you know that 75% of global working people, right, in 2024 were looking to change their jobs
Okay.
in areas like technology, healthcare, and finance. So, because of the large number of people who are looking to take a decision to change their career, I think today we should keep on talking about that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. What are the key considerations when you are looking for or choosing a career path? What do you think?
Well, last time we spoke about exactly this. You know, in my experience was the first and most important one was work-life balance.
Right. Yeah.
So there are a few, but this was for me the first one, right? Others would have been, trying to do a self-assessment before you go into this journey, looking at required skills and understanding what's the industry growth looking like and what's going to not change it, be more stable for the next 10, 15 years.
Okay, so that means work-life balance and flexibility is the first category. Let's put it like this, right?
Yeah. For me, that was the most important. And I recommend everyone to take a step back, look at where they are right now, and then look at what they are looking to get from the work-life balance. And what this means is how much time do you want to invest in your work versus your life, right?
Yeah.
And this, you have to ask yourself, does this career fit my lifestyle? If you can answer that question, then, and what does this mean is it very high demanding role? Is it more stable and routine, meaning 9 to 5? Is it more flexible, meaning I can work from home?
Yeah,
or
office.
exactly,
Yeah.
or it's a hybrid, or I have to be all day in the office. Asking yourself those type of questions when you decide to choose between which career path you should take and how you should grow your career. When we talk about work-life balance, it's very important. For me personally was I wanted to have a more intense role because I wanted to have an hockey stick is called growth in my career, right? I wanted to grow very fast, and the way to grow very fast is to find roles that are more demanding, more high pressure type of roles with more responsibilities. And of course, afterwards we can talk a bit about the industries and skills that were required and so on and so forth. But from a work-life balance, for me was a decision of I want to focus on my career growth by achieving a hockey stick effect, meaning a very fast growth. And I've chose a high demanding or high pressure role. And with that, I achieved in a few years an exponential growth.
Okay. So is it safe to say that the main question for this category would be, does this career fit your lifestyle, right?
Yeah, I think that would be the main question, right? Like, ask yourself, does this career fit my lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
And my expectations in the next 36 months, right? If that fits, right, from a perspective of work-life balance, then you should put that in a short list. Right? Always do like a short list of career paths, right, that you would like to go. And again, as I was saying, the top 3 areas in 2024 in which there was change, a shift was healthcare, technology, and finance, right? But there are many other areas in which right now the market is changing, is shifting. I was just looking over some stats. Of course, AI, right?
AI, right,
Everyone is talking about AI, but did you know that the AI roles pay up to 50% more in the technology industry, in the traditional IT jobs, than any other jobs in technology, right? In Europe, AI and cybersecurity jobs make up to a growth of 50% annually last year. 50%
Yes,
growth
rising.
is rising in
Yeah.
Europe, right?
Yeah.
So AI, it's again an area in which maybe under the technology umbrella that you might look to grow, and many more. I'll tell you more as we go.
Yeah. I think for the other categories, you have a really free cycle rule. Would you like to develop on that?
So as I was telling you, right, besides I started with the first measure, right, was the work-life balance, but there are three others, and there is a rule called three cycle rule, right? And what this three cycle rule talks about: passion, skills, and market demand, right? So when we talk about passion, it all comes down to self-assessment, right? And you have to ask yourself: is the task that I'm going to do, is it going to energize me or drain me, right? Or ask yourself, is this something that comes natural to me to do? Do I enjoy doing this, right? So you have to do the first under the passion. Do an assessment of yourself, who you are, and what's driving you, right?
Yeah, because when you are passionate about, then you invest more time in it, and your growth is much, much quicker, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, and it makes you, whenever I do, and this is from experience, I do hundreds of interviews every year. We're hiring, we're growing, and the one thing that I look in the interviews, right? I look to have people who are passionate, who are driven, who like to grow, to really, they enjoy the area in which they want to come in, the technology area, right?
Yeah.
So if I see that in a person, that is a plus for me, because with that drive, you can really do something, right? You can really exceed, and you can really accomplish a lot of success. Right. So again, from these three circle rules, passion, assess yourself is very important, right? And within that, also you have to ask yourself, hey, am I a lone wolf, or do I like to work in a team, right?
Yeah.
That's also a question that you should ask there, right? It's not only, hey, do I like this the area? Do I like the job? Do I like working in technology, or do I like to work in agriculture, or do I like to work in healthcare? It's also about, hey, is this job involves working in a team, or is more of an individual? Does that fit my personality? Right?
Yes, that's the important one. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing here to note is that besides passion, right, we've talked about skills, and I really like to dive in more about how do you acquire skills and so on and so forth. But before you do that, you have to make an inventory of your skills, right? Everyone would like to go in a particular career path, right? Maybe healthcare, but do I have the right skills to go into that area? And some health, because I mentioned healthcare, some facts around that is that healthcare will account for 45% of all new jobs in US by 2032.
Oh, that's
right?
Yeah, right.
It's a lot of growth in the healthcare system, right? In Australia, the healthcare system or sector will grow nearly 16% by the 2026. So there is huge demand and growth in the healthcare sector right now across the world. US and Australia was just a few of them. So skills education is something that you have to, ask yourself and assess your skills for deciding which path is the right path for me. Right? Now, you don't have to have all the skills acquired. You have to really just do an inventory. What are my skills? And looking at the jobs that I have shortlisted, what are the skills that are demanding there, right? And the first question that I will ask myself is, can I acquire the skills that are here on the right side of the new jobs that I want to tackle? Can I acquire them in the next, let's say, 12 months, right? To 24 months, right? Like a time of 1 to 2 years. Can I acquire them? And then if I can, right, is it like, what do I need to do that, right? What investment do I need to put up front to acquire those skills? If the investment is high, do I have the time on a daily, weekly basis to invest? Because yes, you can acquire skills, but acquiring skills takes time. Right. If I have already a job, right, and I'm trying to acquire also other skills that are beyond the skills that I have right now and beyond the job that I'm doing right now, those will eat time for my day. So do I have time?
Yeah, it's very good said, because skills is my favorite category of all, right? Mm-hmm. I also struggled at the beginning of my journey with skills and so on and so forth. So it's really great to see that these two questions, what skills do I need to have and what skills are required in my next journey, and also how much time do I have to invest. I think this will be the main questions that...
Absolutely. Do you remember when we started, maybe, what was it, 7 years old?
For me, it was like 6 years ago.
6 years ago,
7
right?
years.
7 years ago, right?
Yeah.
We did a list, right? We did left and right column, right? And we put in like, hey, what skills do I have right now? Correct. And what do I want to accomplish by moving from X to Y? And then you've started with, Udemy courses, you started with, other things to acquire those skills, like getting a part-time job and so on and so forth. So exactly this is the path, right? You have to do your inventory, you have to plan what skills you want to acquire, and then I remember you were working after work, you were working another 2-3 hours up until 10 p.m., right?
Yes.
To really acquire that
knowledge. Of course, yeah.
So that's the basis on when we talk about one of these 3 circle rules regarding skills is doing an assessment, an inventory of the skills, doing a list of all the skills for the jobs that you're shortlisted, and then figure out the time that you have to invest in order to achieve those.
So from the 3 circle rule, let's make a quick
assessment, right?
Yeah.
Well,
the first one would be self-assessment, right?
Correct.
Required skills, which
correct.
is my beloved category. What would be the next one?
The next one would be industry growth. Now,
this is a hard one, right?
It's a hard one, especially that currently, and it's very dynamic. The whole world is very dynamic, right? Especially with the introduction of AI, and there are a lot of technology that is being pushed towards industries that usually they are not technology driven, right? And I give you, before I tackle this, one other fact that I've loved this is in agriculture, right? It's modernizing faster and faster. It comes with drones to assess the field, comes with automation, with sustainability farming, right? All of this starts to be tech driven, right? Even right now, if you go, you'll see that the tractors are mainly, doing the work on their own. The driver is there just to ensure that, all systems are going, but is mainly everything is automated.
Yeah.
So because of all this technology infused, growth in industries that in the past we haven't seen it, right? The market and the jobs and the industries and are changing, right? So asking or tackling the rule of looking at the industry growth and future proof, because you can imagine, right? If you want to choose something, you want to choose something that has 10, 15, 20 years stability.
Yeah.
Right? If you invest all this time to grow in your career, you have to ensure that that career will be there for the upcoming years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, your investment, it has no return of investment. Right? After 5 years, you have to change something else because
You have to acquire new skills to change your job again.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. So that would be the first question. Would be, is the job that I'm looking to get, is it in the industry that is going to be stable for the upcoming 10, 15, 20 years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that would be the first question. And again, coming back to like AI, right, and automation that is disrupting the industry. And I was talking about agriculture, right? It's one of it. Another fun fact is in tourism also, it's starting to come back, evolve. Because and fun fact is they've done a huge comeback, the jobs in tourism in the last year in 2023, 27 million jobs. So from 2023 up until now, 27 million jobs has been promoted in the travel industry, right? Because of after pandemic, after COVID,
It's again booming.
it's again booming, right? So that's another area that and is driven also by technology. You will see more and more technology within this area too, within the tourism. You'll see more MLM, right, or more sophisticated websites with drilling down into offerings, doing comparison about your and looking at your profile as an individual. There is a lot of technology involved there too. And I'm going to mention two more. Construction is also booming. There are massive infrastructure projects that are going right now, and there is a surge or there is a lack of workforce in constructions. Also, construction started to be a bit of technology driven from a perspective of designing, on-site assessment, etc., risk assessment. I know a friend of mine, she was a year ago doing a certification for a drone, and I'm like, why an industrial drone? And I'm like, why do you do this? She said, well, she has a company of scaffolds, and she's assessing with the drone, assessing the building and taking images, 3D images of the building, and then in the office planning the scaffolds and the shape of the scaffolds to better optimize the way into the workers can go on the scaffolds and how they can access the building and so on and so forth from the outside. So again, huge demand on constructions based on the massive projects that are happening across the world. Technology is also embedded there, right? And the last one is manufacturing, especially in automotive, are becoming more smarter. So the factory, the jobs in the factory are starting to be reshaped. Right?
Okay.
It's all been driven for a few years now. Robots has been introduced quite heavily in the manufacturing business, but now the jobs of the factory workers have been reshaped to how to set up the robots, how to do maintenance of this equipment, how to use a 3D printer, how to program and deploy a project in a 3D printer. So there is a shift on how we build cars, more automation, and then the workers, the jobs are being reshaped in a sense for supporting this shift, right?
Yeah, it's more like a controller, right, or editor, right? So he doesn't have to do the labor.
Yeah.
He just has his robot. He has to maintain it, make him do the task that he wants. So
That's a yeah, it's a shift that is happening. You have to be aware of this. So that's why when we talk about these three circle rules, right? Passion, skills, market demand, you have to also be aware on what's out there in the market. Where is the demand and where that demand will stay for the 10, 15, 20 years from now on. So that whatever it's in your short list is going to be stable for the upcoming years. And you're not going to do all this investment and all this work of 12 to 24 months for nothing, right?
yeah, because you will go on a path that maybe will extend or will be taken by automation in like 2 or 3 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's crazy enough that even the traditional jobs like, marketing, HR, finance are starting to become more and more data tech driven. So either way, I would encourage everyone to start to have a technical literacy, better understanding of what that means, right?
Yeah.
And I'll let you with this one. In 2024, there was a huge growth in e-commerce and logistics. In US, more than 500,000 jobs are in this area, e-commerce and logistics, right? And when I say, e-commerce and logistics, is besides the nice market that you see, there is a fulfillment piece in the back end. Yeah. That's the logistic piece, right? Mm-hmm. So you imagine like more than 500,000, right? Then in fintech, right? It's skyrocketing. The digital banking is starting to take more of a ground. The standard banks, offices, and traditional banks are starting to move into a more digital format. Now, like you have Revolut, you have many other malls that are purely digital. Like you do not have any physical offices, right?
Yeah.
And then the mobile payments technology has been starting to increase. So fintech, it's again an area that we see a lot of growth besides the e-commerce and logistics, right? And one of the areas that, my nephew, he's a gamer, he likes to play. And we were always challenging him when he was small, like, stop playing so much in your games.
Is the nephew that I know?
Yes, that nephew,
okay.
Right? But he was, and crazy enough, he told me that, and at that point, I was like maybe 6 years ago, I didn't get it. He was like, I'm going to earn money by playing. I'm like, but like, right now we see a growth, especially in Europe, in gaming and digital media. It's thriving. Like you'll see UX designer, you'll see gamers out, animations jobs, virtual reality jobs is the all high, right?
Yeah.
So it's just crazy how time evolves, and some of the jobs that you wouldn't imagine that you can make money by playing a game or by working within the game industry, but it's a huge market there, right? And we see that even growing, especially with the VRs and with the all the equipment that supports that growth, right?
Yeah.
So just to summarize, right, from my perspective, when you want to take a decision, for me, it was very important to have a work-life balance. But besides this, I would apply at least the three circle rules. Look at the passion, skills, and market demand. When we talk about passion, do a self-assessment. Is this task or are the tasks of that job going to energize myself or is going to drain me, right? Requires skills. What skills do I need inventory of what skills do I have versus what skills do I need to require and how much time do I have to invest to acquire those skills?
Yeah.
Do I have that time? And the last one is all about market demand and especially on industry growth and stability. So the job that I'm trying to get in that short list, is it going to be stable in the next 10, 15, 20 years? And keep in mind all the facts that in the growth that we see right now in the industry.
Yeah, perfect sense. So I think the last that almost everyone is talking about is earning potential and financial security, right?
Yeah.
Let's tackle this one.
Oh, yeah. Well, that goes back to the six-figure income, right?
Yeah.
We do a full circle right now, right?
Of course.
So you remember that even us, when we did, coming back to that piece of paper, we have to find that piece of paper.
Yeah, that's really valuable.
That's very valuable. We said in the left side, what's my earning today? And the right side, what's the earning that I'm looking to get, right? Of course, our earnings, it's supporting our lives. Therefore, it's a very important consideration to take, right? So, yes, one of the questions that you should ask yourself, but I will put that as the last one. And again, my personal opinion, based on the experience that I had, was more important were the other questions, and the last piece was the earning. But the question that you will ask is like, would this career meet my finance requirements, right? Would I be able to achieve six figures or less plus, right? Whatever figure you're aiming to achieve, would these shortlist jobs, would those support my target, right? My financial goals, right? And then, how, because that's also progressive, right? It might be that not from the get-go you'll get to that financial goal, but is there a trajectory? Is there a path? If I go into this new area, let's say if I go in healthcare, or if I go in constructions or project management or whatever, from where I am now, and we can double click in the transition in a new episode. Would it get me to at least kickstart to a better level and have a trajectory of growth? Is it doable, right? Do I see the industry growing? Do I see the demand? And would I be able to get to that growth? You have to take in consideration, is there an opportunity for promotions? Is it a standard that within that career path or career that I'm going to choose, is bonuses something normal? Because not all companies and not in all industries bonuses are being given, right?
Yeah.
So is there something? And then do a bit of an analysis. There are so many platforms out there that you can do a bit of an analysis already on what you should expect based on seniority, right?
Yeah.
Are you a junior? Are you a senior? Are you a principal, right? So use like Glassdoor, LinkedIn, and any other tools that are at your disposal to do your analysis. Don't go blindfolded, right?
At least estimated, right?
At least estimated. Now, of course, there are margins is maybe beyond 15% there, but at least you will see close enough, right? You'll see if that company gives bonus or doesn't give bonus, right?
Yeah.
So yes, put yourself at least at the end before making a decision. Take a stab of career financial goals, right? And if those are achievable, ask yourself, is that Is it possible to grow with promotions, with bonuses, and do some due diligence. Use platform like Glassdoor, LinkedIn, etc. to do your research.
Yeah, so let's do a quick recap of what we have discussed, right? So decision is what are the key considerations to choose before a career path, right? And then we said it's the best to start with does this career fit my lifestyle? So work-life balance and flexibility, right?
Right.
Then you have like your
Three circle
rule, right? With self-assessment, required skills, industry growth, and future proofing. And the last one that we tackled is earning potential and financial security. Did we miss something?
No, we nailed it. I do believe that one aspect of all this is that we should double click is the skills, because a lot of people are afraid when they see this, oh, here are all the skills that I need to acquire. I have some doubts.
They don't match, right? They see, oh, I'm a construction worker. How should I change to IT, right? So
Exactly. We have friends in common that were in the food industry and now they are in an IT industry. So
Crazy.
Totally different
Yeah.
skills, right?
Crazy, yeah.
So you have to. There is a path, right? And we should double click on what would be the steps together and how should you assess if you're really ready to make those steps and if you are equipped to make those steps. We should double click on those.
Yeah, I think skills would be a best episode, the next episode that we will do. Okay, thank you guys. If you think this information was helpful for you, please subscribe to our channel. We try to bring you the best information that there is
Based on experience.
and facts.
Exactly.
Perfect, Sam. Thank you very much, guys. Until the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.